Hey y'all!
Hey y'all, what's up?
Today we have something a little different for you.
It is a little different, but I think you're really going to like it.
A ton of you, if not all of you, know about the Infinity War movie that just came out.
Yes. If you don't, come out of the rock you're living under.
It's just like exploding, and even people who aren't Avengers fans have
Like me.
gone to see it, like Callie.
If you don't know what an Easter egg is in movies, it's when there are little tiny details that have like a underlying meaning to them. That Disney has a bunch of them, Pixar has a ton of them, and we're going to talk about 21 of them in this movie.
Yeah, that people have found or figured out or put together or whatever.
Yes, we did not come up with these.
No, we did not. But we are going to read
interesting.
them. We're going to read them and talk about it. So
Yeah.
this is kind of a spoiler.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
So if you haven't seen this movie yet, don't watch
Turn
this.
it off.
Go
Turn
see the movie first.
Yes. Number 1. Tony Stark dreams about naming his son Morgan. In the movie, Tony tells Pepper that he dreamt they had a child together and named him Morgan. He says they named him after Pepper's crazy uncle. But apparently, in the comics, Morgan Stark is actually Tony's vengeful cousin, who later becomes a supervillain.
Easter egg number 2. All those bubbles Thanos creates with the Reality Stone are a reference to Marvel vs. Capcom 2, New Age of Heroes. So basically, in that video game, a number of Thanos-like combinations involve trapping his opponent in a bubble, which then breaks and busts it up into other little bubbles.
That is
it's
so
like
cool.
It is pretty
Imagine
cool.
if they had that in Smash Brothers.
That would be really
That would have been... I would never lose. Number 3. Rocket,
We love
who we love,
Rocket.
his body part fetish, continues in Infinity War. If you remember in Guardians of the Galaxy when he conned the Star-Lord into buying him a prosthetic leg. And I don't know why, and then he joked about Thor's fake eye too. He had one and gave it to him. And then in Infinity War, he expresses a very keen interest in Bucky Barnes' metal arm. And even Bucky's denies him the arm. He's like, no, you can't have this arm. And he vows at the end, he's like, that arm will be mine. It's so funny. It's kind of, I think, foreshadowing Avengers 4.
Easter egg number 4. The Russo brothers planted another Arrested Development Easter egg. So basically what happened is one fan in particular that apparently has crazy attention to detail noticed that the Guardians visited the Collector in Nowhere. We can see among the Collector's items there's a man looking like Tobias Funk. Is that how you say it?
We'll never know.
After his Blue Man Group audition. In Civil War, the directors called back to the show's famous stair car during the airport fight scene.
It's really observant.
It is.
Number 5. Captain America wears his traditional scale armor underneath his suit. Why are you so happy about that?
Because I just love him so much. He's so cute. Look at it. Just gives me the chills.
Okay. It says, while Steve Rogers' suit has certainly evolved within the MCU, we've yet to see a reference to his original outfit or armor until Infinity War. If you look closely during the battle scenes in Wakanda, you can see the scales underneath the tears in his suit. So,
Easter egg number 6. Thor's new weapon comes from Marvel's Ultimate Universe, an alternate reality in the original storyline. After Thor's hammer is destroyed, the God of Thunder quests to make a new weapon. However, Thor's axe hammer in Infinity War isn't the same hammer. In the Ultimate Universe comics, it's called the ultimate fancy word that I'm going to put right here and say hammer. However, they give it a different name in the movie, thank God, because who can pronounce this? I'm sure a lot of people, but not me. So.
Number 7. Thor names his new weapon Stormbreaker, which is the name of Beta Ray Bill's hammer in the comics. After Beta Ray Bill defeats Thor in battle, Odin honors him by having the same dwarves who forged his old hammer to forge Stormbreaker for Bill. Later in the story, Thor and Bill become allies. Therefore, Thor's new weapon is a reference to one of his most worthy adversaries. I can't say it. Adversaries.
Easter egg number 8. A similar scene where Ebony Maw tortures Doctor Strange occurred in Jonathan Hickman's 2013 comic event, Infinity. In Infinity, Thanos sends his goons to acquire the Infinity Gems. Ebony Maw goes after Doctor Strange, who's a member of a secret group, the Illuminati, that knows the whereabouts of the stones. While there aren't any giant needles in the story, Ebony does have a memorable interrogation scene with Strange.
Number 9. Infinity War furthers the theory that Bucky Barnes will fill the role of White Wolf. So as we saw in the post-credits scene following Black Panther, Bucky is referred to the Wakandans as White Wolf. In Infinity War, the title is used again. So in the comics, White Wolf is a Caucasian boy who gets abandoned in Wakanda and becomes T'Challa's I haven't seen that movie, so I don't know. Adopted brother.
Number 10. Let's not forget the homage paid to James Cameron's Aliens. I almost said Peter Pan is Peter's plan.
Peter Pan's plan.
Peter's plan to defeat Ebony Maw comes directly from the scene in Aliens where Ripley has the xenomorph queen sucked right out of the ship's airlock. Never mind, I wasn't gonna.
No. Suck her right out.
No. Both the xenomorph queen and Ebony Maw are frozen and left to float in space forever.
Number 11. The scene where Spider-Man webs Thanos' face is a reference to a panel in the original Infinity Gauntlet comic. I didn't know that was a thing, but apparently it is. An idea for Spider-Man to web Thanos' face goes back to the comics. Cool.
Number 12. Doctor Strange uses his powers to summon the Crimson Bands and Satoric for the first time in Infinity War. Near the end of the film, Doctor Strange conjures up the Red Bands in an effort to subdue Thanos. The spell isn't discussed in the movie, but fans of the comics will immediately recognize it.
It's cool. Number 13. Infinity War is the first time we see Tom Holland as Spider-Man experience his spider sense. While Peter may have felt his senses tingling multiple times during Spider-Man Homecoming, this is the first time the audience has seen it in action.
His arm hairs stand up on the bus.
I love all the memes.
14. Teenage Groot is seen playing Defender. 1981, a video game which, on a basic level, mirrors the plot of Infinity War. I picked up on that. I did during the movie. Really? It would sometimes show the screen of it, and it was like, okay. The object of the game is to protect humans against waves of alien enemies who want to abduct them. While this clearly isn't the exact plotline of Infinity War, the whole thing about protecting the universe from aliens is a pretty key point in the story.
That's very interesting. Number 15. All those references to Thanos snapping his fingers are rooted in the original comics. In Jim Starlin and George Perez's The Infinity Gauntlet, Thanos literally snaps his fingers and wipes out half of the universe's population in an instant. Dang, I wish I could do that sometimes.
Callie!
In other words, Gamora wasn't exaggerating in the film's trailers when she warns the team that Thanos can wipe out half the universe with the snap of his finger. She was actually being serious, because that was in the comic.
Alright, number 16. Red Skull was recast in Infinity War. Most people had concluded that Red Skull either died or was sent to another dimension after attempting to master the Tesseract in Captain America. Few would have guessed that he'd be guarding the Soul Stone, and even fewer probably realized that he was no longer played by Hugo Weaving, but by Ross Marquand instead. Bet you didn't know that.
Number 17. Tony Stark has the same flip phone that Steve Rogers sent him at the end of Captain America Civil War. I thought it was funny because I picked up on that he was using a flip phone. I didn't see that movie, but I thought it was weird that he was using a flip phone. So, anyway, after Bruce explains to everyone that Thanos is coming, he urges Tony to call Captain America for backup. Tony hesitantly pulls out the cell phone, which has Steve's contact information on the screen.
Number 18. Number 18. Loki's line, "We have a Hulk," is a callback to the Avengers, that original Avengers movie. So cute because, okay, what happened was in the 2012 movie, Loki threatens Tony Stark with his alien army, and he's like, trying to be all big and bad. And in response, Tony Stark says, "We have a Hulk." And Hulk comes in and grabs Loki and is flaming around and everything. During the first scene of Infinity War, Loki's talking to Thanos and his little
because he's
minions.
a good guy now.
Yeah, he's talking to his minions, and they're like, "We're gonna overtake the world. Look at us." And he goes, "Yeah, well, we have a Hulk."
Number 19. Tony's balloon animals crack at Doctor Strange feels like a reference to a Jimmy Kimmel skit back in 2016. "What is your job exactly, except to make balloon animals?" says Tony to Strange. This could be a general insult about Strange being a magician of sorts. However, Strange did make a balloon animal's appearance in a skit with Jimmy Kimmel, where Jimmy hires him to work a children's birthday party, and he does it to make some extra cash. Who knows what that was referring to? It could be either one of those things, but because I could see Tony Stark referring to him your little balloon animal.
Yeah,
as a magician.
She's so cynical. I love it.
Yeah, but
you scared me.
Hey, Luna,
hey, girl.
But it could also be referring to that too.
Alright, Easter egg number 20. During one particularly romantic scene between Wanda and Vision, there's a quirky sign in the background, and it reads, "We will deep fry your kebab." It's kind of an off-tone background joke, but the characters are in Edinburgh, Scotland, where you can indeed get yourself a deep-fried kebab.
Number 21. Vision's lifeless body looks like a reference to his white suit as a West Coast Avenger. It says, in case you were too traumatized by the moment to notice, because I think we all were, after Thanos plucks the Mind Stone from his forehead, his body loses all color and turns white.
Mm-hmm.
It makes Vision's death that much sadder, and it makes our eagerness for Captain Marvel to exact revenge on Thanos that much greater.
So true.
So true. If you find some more Easter eggs, let us know in the comments below.
Yes, please do. One of our friends actually has like the dopest theory for the next movie. So
because I was so mad. I was like, I'm not watching the next one. This is. Oh, I didn't think there would be. I didn't think there would be. I was really mad because I was like, a bunch of good people die in this movie. He just had a dope theory, and it made me actually like want to see the next movie that's gonna come out. So,
and just for any of you who are like still sad and like think that there's not gonna be another movie, just remember that they individually have their own movies that they have to make, and if they're all dead, then they can't make their own movies. So obviously, there's gonna be another one.
Luna's excited.
So take heart, right, Luna? Are you so happy about it? You wave at the people and say hello.
Oh, good girl.
Okay, that's what we have for you this Tuesday.
The new video drops on Thursday, so we'll see you then.
We'll see you then.
Ow.